we talked about this the other day. As of the last show we did, there were 5 Superfractors that have been doubled up. There are 2 copies made of the same card out of 2023 Bowman Chrome. Well, Fanatics comes out, I believe it was 2 days ago now, and says no, there were actually 95 all non-autograph Superfractor autos.
Yep.
And they then release a bounty, a buyback program. So if you get the Ethan Salas, the number 1 guy in the product, you get $75,000. I think it's in Fanatics credit. I don't think it's an actual payout.
Oh,
I believe
does it say credit?
Which by the way, is a huge one. You can buy all the product you want there. That card is not worth more than $10,000. Like, the buyback amounts are so unbelievably...
I don't know if it is, because it says payments will be made via ACH, wire transfer, or PayPal.
Okay, even better. Okay, I misunderstood. Great. Either way, you're probably right then. The amounts... so they actually have a list. This guy pays this. This one... It's an unbelievable win. If you pull that card is worth nowhere close. Now, the one stipulation is it's the first person to do this. If you and I both pull the same Superfractor, the first person to input the information... locks it in.
Yep.
It then goes into, it literally changes as it's processing. The second person couldn't go in and get it.
Yep.
Huge win, by the way. I want to address this though.
Are we going with theories now?
Yeah, because here's the thing. The screw up happened. It was horrendous. It's a huge flagship product. It never should have happened like this. In my mind, Fanatics is going above and beyond. Now, the immediate response was, well, this was a marketing ploy. They're going to jack up box prices. Just so you know, if you look on Fanatics this morning still, $319 a hobby box, $399 for HTA. There's been no adjustment in pricing anywhere. The other thing that happened, by the way, because again, we're going this next rant is just about all the people who, no matter what, it's a conspiracy and it's all this terrible misdealings. The other thing is...
Wait, before you say it, I do want to at least point out that they are doing exactly what we mentioned on the show.
Correct.
Exactly what we mentioned on the show.
Maybe Michelle told them.
You had specifically said the thing about the actually paying for a card.
And take one off the market.
Take one off the market.
Win.
I mentioned the thing about customer service, of getting back and going out of your way to say something. Because
be transparent.
This is a big deal in the sense that they at least said something.
Correct.
If they had just done that, I think it would have been at least a little bit of a win.
No, it's a screw up. We're reviewing our process.
Exactly.
They literally, no lie. They literally went word for word with what we did. Make sure you're addressing the problem. Be transparent. Review the process. Why has it happened this way? And then go above and beyond for the collector. So now again, we are in the world where every time something happens, it is now an unbelievable conspiracy theory and all this crap that comes along with it. I actually unsubscribed from about 7 YouTube stations in the last 3 days.
Good for you, because I will say there's some that it's just like it's too much.
No matter what happens. So first the response was, okay, well, that's a great solution here, but what about this?
Yep.
It's a great solution here. There were problems before. There are going to be problems again. When there are issues, we'll be critical of Fanatics. But the same loudmouths who are always critical, I didn't see any praise from any of these people. That irritates me.
Yep.
You can bash anybody you want, and I do all the time. If they do something great, and this is a win, even if you believe it's manipulated and manufactured, which to me is stupid, but fine. I don't care. Box pricing was not affected. The chase is no one buying into Bowman Chrome is like, you know what, I'm going to now chase the Superfractor I don't think that's a real thing. It's a win. They corrected a screw up. It's a win, and we saw them come out and be transparent about an issue. I think that's a massive thing.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I don't care if it was manufactured. If this was a marketing thing, where's the downside for the collector? Because if they're not jacking up pricing, if they are still continuing to do what they were already doing, I think it's an overall win. And I even texted you, I think, before I started hearing about all the theories. I was like, they should do this on purpose going forward with their boxes. Because, they make millions of dollars per release. I mean, I'm sure for something like this, multiple millions for Bowman Chrome. Take a fraction of that money and give it right back to everybody. Just say, hey, there's already, because we've already discussed are bounties good or bad for the hobby. That's, there's a number of opinions, but I do think the majority think that buybacks overall seem to be a good thing. We are starting to get more and more into like the gambling world of like, hey, now we're just trying to win prizes and stuff. But that's kind of what everyone's been doing the whole time with collecting, unless you are in it only for the love of the player and the sport and the art or whatever. But if you are in it all for the value, then yeah, I think it's a good thing for the hobby. And I think they should continue.
By the way, the box price on Topps is actually down right now, $289 and $365.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
See?
One note did just update, literally just says sold out now, too. The other theory was, because they've announced as well, there's a $200,000 bounty on the Babe Ruth 1/1 Superfractor.
From David Adams.
That's David Adams.
Separate bounty from Fanatics.
I'm sorry, so I didn't realize that. So the 200,000 is David Adams. Fanatics came out and said, hey, we're adding 15,000 more if it's pulled on our app this weekend.
Yep.
So of course, the Loudmouth, the biggest breaker in the world, has to hit this. It's gonna happen this week on Fanatics Live. It's gonna be amazing, and it'll happen Sunday night so they can sell this whole weekend. Yeah. Well, it happened Saturday, I believe, on a break room that I've never heard of that is not on Fanatics Live. Yep. In a room of, I think it was 20 people. The other thing that happened this weekend that I thought was funny, I believe it was Hunt Breaks. I think that's the name.
Okay.
Because again, Panini does the same thing. Loaded boxes. They know which ones are going out. Mm-hmm. What would you say is the case hit in flawless football this year? What is the biggest player? It's 2022 rookie class. You know nothing about cards. Pretend you don't. You don't have to pretend that hard. What would be the biggest card you could hit out of flawless from the 2022 rookie class? Please don't screw this up.
A Shield Purdy 1/1?
Shield. I cannot believe you freaking know that. A Shield Purdy. I just didn't know you'd know the exact brand.
Sure.
Shield. By the way, on Fanatics they are the same. $320, $499. $399. Price hasn't changed. Hunt Breaks pulls the Shield Purdy this weekend. Not Backyard. Not somebody on Fanatics Live. Now, is that infinite proof that they don't send load? No.
Oh, you know what they're going to say though. They're
going to throw them off the tape.
We caught on to them, and now they had to change it. It's thanks to us.
So my pledge is this: if I don't respond and talk with you on a weekly basis, some guys I do. Dan, I still speak to on a weekly basis. Dan the card guy. Mm-hmm. I'm done with almost every other YouTube. I get so sick of this just false everything's a conspiracy, and then when something is done right, they're doing it to jack up prices. Well, okay, now let's address the fact that 2 days later that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
They're doing it, it'll get pulled on Fanatics Live. That didn't happen. All of these things are great theories, but when they actually come to reality and it doesn't happen, it's just never addressed. Fanatics has still made some decent sized errors in the past in their printing, their QC, all of that. No excusing it. This was by far the biggest mistake they have made as a company. Topps, the Superfractor issue, not even close. I think they went way above and beyond to fix it. If you cannot give credit to that alone, you can still be critical. If you cannot at least acknowledge this in itself was a huge win, I don't think you're a reasonable person. I have no more time for your biased bullcrap.
You know what I love about you, Mike, is that this situation is a overall... it's a positive thing, right? And the people that you're talking about are very glass half empty type of people. You have a way of it still sounds like you're angry and mad, which you are at the people doing things, but it is still very, you are not a glass half empty type of person. I think it's good for people to know that you are happy that this is happening. The tone does not reflect some of that sometimes. I want people to
I'm going to sing praises on Fanatics again real quick, because I think this is another story that went largely...
Wait. The Babe Ruth 1/1, before you go in, because you keep jumping, and I do want to talk about that. That is a Superfractor, is it not? Mm-hmm. It's a 1/1. That was not one of the double-ups.
Correct. We're not on their list.
So I guess my thing is 90, you said it was 95 cards?
95 Superfractors.
95 Superfractors. Was that every 1/1 or no?
No, because there's a Superfractor of every card. There's hundreds. Every single prospect has a Superfractor version.
Okay. So then, there's no way then it could have been. Okay.
So I don't know how it happened. I have no idea, but it wasn't everyone.
That's an interesting thing then. Okay, I'm sorry. So continue.
I think this has such massive implications in the hobby. And I think this, again, is a story of, they're bringing in these big names. This is only for the hobby elite. The dumbest... people are just excusing this away and trying to impugn Ron Motors on this as well. If you paid attention to social media this week, Chris Costa, who throws the Fenway Card Show, we've been on the show before.
Yep.
Jason Tatum, and I think Mike Mahan, whatever. They were there for the hobby trade, whatever.
Yes.
Unbelievably massive showing. I looked through all these pictures on social. The freaking place was packed out. Tons of kids, tons of new buyers. All the comments I saw, a bunch of the comments below too. First time we'd even been to a card shop, didn't know there was a shop here, haven't bought a pack in years.
Oh, that's
Brady
cool.
did the same thing with Ruben.
I saw that.
I think that was in New York. And Kevin Hart, the little guy. And Alex Jaimo, by the way, was like emceeing that. She was next to Brady on the microphone, which was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Same thing. Like, so much of the outreach was, hey, didn't even know cards were a thing anymore. The marketing with such a little amount of effort that this weekend had on bringing in new collectors.
Yep.
People talk about, well, how are we going to 10X? How is this thing going to grow? Again, I don't care. I do care. Excuse me.
Sure.
I care that they left out J-Rod and all those guys in 2022 Topps Chrome. Fanatics, you stink for doing that. Miserable mistake. This weekend, you came out with the Superfractor solution, which I thought was amazing, and you did an event like this, which we have never seen, ever. There has never been a marketing effort like this past weekend in the history of cards. I don't think that's overstating it. I really do not. Yeah. The reach that Tom Brady and some of these people have.
Yeah.
I'm a little irritated with Costa. Thanks for the freaking invite, buddy.
Would you have flown up there?
For Tatum?
There's no world.
I just think we become so ingrained with we gotta, and I get it too, by the way. It gets more clicks. People want to talk about conspiracies, and people like drama. Yes. I understand. There's a reason soap operas have been popular for 70 years. Like, people like drama, and that's fine. There's a place for it. But at times we have to step back and say, you know what? Some of this was actually a win this week, regardless of what you think of the company.
I do think that that's where people start giving. You walk a fine line when you talk about sports card investors sometimes, because he's been so polarizing over the years. I personally have never had an issue with Jeff, but it is funny. Like him or not, his whole thing has always been taking the high road and trying to be positive. I do really appreciate that in a lot of ways, because it does seem like we are so overwhelmed with those kinds of accounts, like you said. Like, at least, maybe it's just us. Maybe it's because of we've had a tendency to follow those accounts.
See, and I just want more balance. I hate both equally.
Because I don't like balance.
I like Jeff as a person, 100%. By the way. He's been very cool with us. I don't like Jeff's always ignoring some of the negativity at times.
Honestly, I don't mind it, because there are other ones that are completely negative.
But I hate them too. That's what I mean. I want some more balanced. And even if it means, guess what? Maybe this podcast will be a little bit lower rated this week, because we're not talking about some crazy made-up fantasy story and some unbelievable conspiracy.
Sure.
But if it's factual and actually adds value. Anyways, I don't even want to. I actually would like to get into a couple card topics after this.
I would love to do that.